All right, welcome to the Freakin Flax podcast. My guest today, guest number one, Walter the Puma. How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, sir?
I'm great. Thank you for being my guest tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. We're going to talk a little bit about how you started in wrestling, a little bit about your childhood, and then go into a talk about your career, and then some follow-up questions, and then just kind of have a nice conversation. If that's all right with you.
Hey, I'm down with it.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to ask how you're feeling. Currently you were out of WAW at the time. You are out with injury. You were champion. You had an amazing match with Chris Shady, FO, to the last of his career. And then you competed for another few months, and then you were, doing the whole picketing the authority angle there in WAW. And then, I think the last thing you did was give good old Draven Filth a Puma pounce. And that was the last time that we saw you. And so how you feeling now?
I'm feeling good. That's did my picketing. Kind of still picketing right now. That's why I'm not wrestling right now.
Okay. But like physically wise, health wise, you feeling right?
Yeah.
That's very good to hear.
Good.
All right. Well, first question I want to start off with is the city that you were born in. Is that the same city that you, Puma, are from? Because Puma is from Walla Walla, Washington, right?
That's right.
That's right.
No, I was born in Rochester, New Hampshire.
All right. Very interesting. And would you consider that to be your favorite city? If you could live anywhere in the world, would you live in Rochester, or would you live in Walla Walla, Washington?
No.
I assume you've never been to Walla Walla, Washington.
Never been to Walla Walla. No. I just thought it was cool when I picked it out for my gimmick.
All right. Very nice. Okay. So what if you could live anywhere? Where would you live?
Tennessee or Florida.
Tennessee or Florida. Very nice. Any particular reason why?
Went to Tennessee when I was a kid. Loved it.
Yeah.
And Florida is great too.
All right. Okay, so here's what we're talking about here. I just want to know about wrestling, of course. Have you always been a fan, and what's your earliest memory of wrestling?
Yes, I have. My earliest memory would be watching Hulk Hogan versus pretty much anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody. I used to sit at home with my parents, and we used to watch it together.
Very nice. So, would you consider Hulk Hogan to be your favorite growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. He was my favorite growing up.
Awesome. Is there anybody that you didn't like growing up? Like, watching, whether or not it was a villain or, just somebody in general?
Not really.
No?
I was just into everybody.
Awesome.
Everything about wrestling.
Awesome. When you were growing up, did your favorite, like Hulk Hogan, did it change from a child to a teen to an adult? Have your favorites changed over time?
It has, yes. I became a huge Triple H fan.
Oh, okay.
And my top three, when I got back into wrestling, and I think it was 98, there was like a time lapse that I wasn't watching it.
Right.
But it was Triple H, Austin, and The Rock. Those guys
are great.
Those guys brought me back and kept me entertained.
Awesome. And then as you grow older, as an adult, are those still, would you still consider them your favorites now?
Yeah, maybe just a few others added in there.
Yeah, like who?
I'd have to add Jericho.
Awesome.
You got HBK.
Yeah.
He was part of one of the favorite. My favorite tag team growing up was the Rockers.
Awesome.
So, I like the new guys coming in. Some of the new guys,
Yeah.
And you have to have Taker up there.
Yeah.
And that pretty much rounds it out.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Let's ask about how you were first introduced to WAW. Did you watch it live before? Did you attend a show? How did that whole thing come about? Because it's always interesting to see how different people were brought into this little group.
I was brought into WAW by my best friend, Chris Tracy, who is known as FO or Chris Shady.
Yep.
He had been asking me for years to come to WAW.
Mm-hmm.
I used to wrestle with him just, in the playgrounds outside. We grew up together, childhood friends.
Yeah.
So I went through a rough period and did some jail time. And after that, when I got out, Chris finally said, "Hey, come to WAW, take your mind off of it." So February 1st, I got out, and at the end, in 2004 it was, February 1st. And then it was the last weekend in February that I was doing my first show.
Was that Lord of the Ring?
Lord of the Rings, 2004.
Awesome. That was your first wrestling match?
That was my first match in WAW.
That's fantastic. What a hell of a debut. Lord of the Ring. Jesus. Oh, wow. And you've had a lot of success for the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
But not that first one. That
Nope.
first one you were eliminated.
Nope, yeah.
Did it come down? Were you? I believe that Ethel won that year, right? So who'd you get eliminated by? Do you remember?
I do not. I believe it was multiple people.
Okay.
But yeah, I can't think that far back.
I know.
I remember some things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm big money.
I'm sure it's on the archives somewhere. The early ones. Everything's on the archives in the early ones.
Yeah.
Now, so you never even attended a WWE show live before that?
No.
Just like come on in and then you just jumped right in?
It
was like, let's see what you got in the Battle Royal?
The week before, me and Chris went to Chris Jackson's house.
Yep.
Who is one of the founding fathers of the company.
Yep. Jersey Devil?
Yep, the Jersey Devil. I sat down with him. We talked character, what I want to do. And then he said I could come in at LOTR, which was a week away. So I came into that, did the training the next week, and
you're in.
I was in.
That's awesome. What do you think was the biggest shock or biggest difference to you in regards to wrestling, from watching wrestling to actually, kind of doing it inside of a ring?
All the work that goes into it.
Yeah.
There's a lot more work than people realize that go into it.
Very true.
But it also, the work that I put into the wrestling actually helped me outside of the ring. So it was a plus. It was me escaping from the real world to this character.
To the character, yeah.
But at the same time, it was the character that I was able to, all my frustrations and everything I put into my character, I was able to ease into my personal life even better.
That kind of helped out? Okay,
Yeah,
that's great. That's fantastic. Now, what is the character? What is your character based off of? Like, the character of Puma?
There's a lot of Walter in there.
Yeah.
There really is.
Yeah.
But the big money, funny story, was given to me by the Jersey Devil.
Okay.
Who ironically stole his finishing move and made it mine, and now it's the legendary
The Puma Press.
He used to be the Wicked Press.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, stole his move. He's a big fan of ICP, and he had a movie, Big Money Hustlers.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And he's like, he gave me that nickname, and I've run with it ever since.
That's fantastic. Has it evolved over time? Has it changed?
The character has, but I've always kept the big money, the main part. To show, when you're heel face, you show two different sides of it.
That's true.
And that's what I can do.
And what do you prefer, heel or face? Which way do you like working?
You know what?
Good guy, bad guy.
It doesn't matter. I have a great time working heel, bad guy. To me, I like the booze. I like getting the booze.
Alcohol? The booze? You like the booze?
No.
You like the booze? Like you
I haven't had enough yet. So.
Yeah, like the opposite of getting cheered?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
That's a bit you
I
like, off of?
Yeah. I like working off of that in the ring.
Awesome.
It helps me feed. I can also do a face, but I just like heel better.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's easier to play one or the other?
I personally do not think so.
You find it easy to play both?
I find it easy to play both.
Yeah.
When I'm a heel, I tend to swear a little more. When I'm face, I don't swear. It's just and I have that in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I know that some people they have a hard time, trying to be the face without swearing, and the way you move in the ring and stuff is also part of the everything.
Yep, good guy, bad guy. Yep, how you present
and
yourself.
some people can only wrestle one way.
Interesting. Okay.
But there's a lot of my good friends, you included. You can wrestle as a face or a heel.
But just some people can't. Maybe they're just better one way than the other. Yeah,
because they try, like, the certain moves you do, you don't want to do. You want to be less flashy.
Sure. Yeah,
So,
I can understand that.
And when I'm a heel, I don't really do anything flashy. I do my basic 5 moves of doom. That's what we call it.
what would your 5 moves of doom be? What would they be?
Let's see, spine buster.
Okay.
The cannonball.
Yep.
The Puma pounce.
Awesome. Yep.
The Puma bomb.
Yep.
Puma press.
That's excellent. 5 moves of doom right there. That's great. Okay. And then were there any wrestling influences on your character and style? Like wrestlers that even you might not have liked them really, like they might not be in your favorite ones, but you pulled from them. Did you base it off of anything?
I tried when I first started. It was based off of Triple H.
Okay. Spinebuster. Yeah, that makes sense.
Spinebuster.
Yep.
I've added some styles of Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm a bigger guy, but I like the high flying stuff.
Ooh, is that where the bomb comes from?
No,
Or the cannonball or what?
The bomb is from Vader.
Yep, Vader bomb. Yeah.
He was a good guy growing up.
You like Vader as well,
I
yeah.
loved Vader when I was growing up. No, I didn't do much of it, but I could climb the rope. I could do a sick elbow.
Yeah.
You took my first elbow drop.
Did I
on the
really?
Top rope, yeah.
I don't remember that, but okay, all right, that's fine.
I do. That's one of the
I
things.
let you drop an elbow on me?
I don't know if you let me. I just did it.
Was that back in the outlaw days of WWE?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the old gym? Yeah.
Yellow ropes.
Yellow ropes?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I climbed on top and then did it.
That's awesome.
Everybody was amazed.
I'm sure I was too.
You was. You was.
All right, let's talk about your first year. How you first started, you said you started at Lord of the Ring.
Lord of the Ring.
And then I believe you got into something with Moops, right? Moops was your first angle. Was he supposed to be your mentor? And it was like
yes.
a teacher-student kind of angle?
He was behind the scenes. Chris Tracy brought me in.
Yep.
But character-wise, Moops brought me in.
Moops got you in, okay. And then I believe that your first thing, that was the angle that just led up to your first legacy, right? Like you ended up turning on Moops, or he just or did he beat you down?
No, I turned on him, and I was the first person to ever turn on Moops.
The first person to turn on Moops,
He was the guy that always turned on everybody.
Okay, very nice.
So when I turned on Moops, that just put me heel status.
Yes. All right, so you were healed in your first 2 months of WWE.
Yes.
Very nice. And then I know that there was, I remember everybody. We sat down with Jersey, and it was everybody that was in the Lumberyard match. Before it was the Lumberyard match, and they were like, "What? We need to come up with some kind of match at Legacy." And a couple of us suggested, we've been using breakthrough boards a lot recently. Why don't we just use those? And so we were that group. 2004 was the first ever Lumberyard match. That 2004 was my first year as well. So I kind of remember it fondly.
Yeah.
And so. I remember that there was talks of you were going to win that first one. Moops ended up being the first winner, and he also became the first 2-time winner. He was a Legacy champion, of course, but I do remember that Puma was going to be the first Legacy champion. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I know, 10 plus years ago, right? I know.
Oh, no, this is my second special.
Yeah.
And I was nominated to win.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to win until some stuff with Moops happened, and he ended up taking my spot.
Okay.
It was a great match. he ended up eliminating me. Came down to me and him.
Awesome.
He pushed me off the top rope to the outside, and I went through a breakthrough board.
That's a beautiful, beautiful fall right there.
And my head hit the chair, and I knocked myself out.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well.
And it's hilarious to see Moody try and pick me up.
I can only imagine. Yeah, yeah. All right, and you know, what were your thoughts on your first Legacy? I know that you know your first Lord of the Ring was just a lot coming at you at once, but like
Legacy,
first thing after Legacy, yeah.
Legacy, I felt that it was an honor that I was even considered to be in the final two, let alone win it. But Jersey had come up to me and said that I was, at the time, one of the greatest new guys coming in that he's seen. For a big guy like me and being agile, he said that he saw big things in my future.
And you won Rookie of the Year, right?
I did win
Tie?
Rookie of the Year. Tie, yes,
Carnage.
Carnage.
Yeah. But still.
But I did suffer a knee injury that put me out for 6 months.
And that happened pretty much right after.
Right out, yeah.
When you were already going to be on the Annihilation team.
I had loops up for
Puma Press.
Puma Press.
Yep.
And he rolled while I was trying to move, and my knee ended up buckling, twisting, shooting out. I fell down. He fell on top of me. I ended up tearing my ACL, MCL, and all the ligaments in my knee.
Crazy. Crazy.
Yep.
I remember being on camera for that, and we filmed that, and that was, you know, we filmed you getting carried on a stretcher. Used for later video. Yeah.
First person ever.
I don't know if it was the last, but you definitely was the first.
I take credit. Hey, that's something I'm in history for.
So now, when you came back to be in one of the greatest stables of all time, B.T.P, Big Top Playaz.
Yes.
Right? You came back, FO, who had just turned into a bad guy, and Dirty Dealer. Legendary Dirty Dealer. He was, you know, done with Payback.
Yes, he was.
And he ended up wanting it to lead a new group of people, and he chose you guys.
Yeah.
Tell us about how, to you, you know, B.T.P came about, and then how you felt about being involved with those guys.
All right. I was in the car on the highway with Chris. He gets a phone call from Jersey. And as we're driving, Chris is just like, I gotta put you on speaker. And so he puts Jersey on the speaker.
Yep.
And he's like, I have this idea. You guys, B.T.P, Big Top Playaz.
Big Top because Circus and Big Money Puma, then the Circus, or I guess just Big Top was just a part of it.
Big Top.
Yeah.
Big.
Deal,
yeah. So it was part of, you know, so that represented FO, and then the player was, of course, Dealer.
Okay.
And when he said that, I was like, what? I get the team with my best friend. I get one of the founding fathers as a manager. At the time, one of the best guys on the mic.
Oh, of course. At the time, neither you or FO were good on the mic.
No.
Yeah.
No, I was the worst on the mic. I had this other skills. I just didn't have the mic skills.
Right. And we had no mic.
Yeah, no mic.
No mic. But I was happy when we finally got mics. That was great. Coming actually using mics after not using mics for a while. You know what I mean?
Great.
Us being like, you know, at the time, like it's an indoor backyard wrestling place, but taking ourselves a little bit more seriously. Only because, you know, it was during that year, 2004, was when more people decided to actually plan out matches. Like, actually sit down and think about what's the story for this match going to be. How can we top what we did last year? You know, before it was like I was saying, outlaw. Just everybody, it was every man for himself. And to be honest, with certain people at that time, it still was. But more people were getting into the idea of, hey, this is what wrestling's all about, and this is, you know, how we should kind of work towards that.
Yeah.
This also resulted in one of the greatest angles and images, you know, and just overall character developments in WWE history. And I'll set the stage there because you ended up getting burnt in the face. You ended up coming back, or Jersey ended up coming back. The lights went out. Doomsday 2004? Because Chris Shady FO was fighting Schatz for the breast knuckles on the pole.
Yeah. He came back to get me.
Lights went out and you did Hellfire.
I turned around into the worst, but one of the greatest Hellfires.
Right.
because it legitimately set me on fire.
And then, I don't want to say the joke, because it's not funny it happened, but the joke is that Paul Clement was given a masked ref uniform and was told to come out to help you with, what was it, a bucket of ice, some water, some towels? What was it?
It was ice. He had a bag of ice on him.
So the lights come back on. You're screaming in agony. Everybody's wondering where Paul is. Camera stops. Paul comes running out, still in the masked uniform, to give you the ice. And he said that he thought that he needed to give you the ice after the show, after the match was taped. And then we asked him, why were you going to wear the ref gear then? And he just had the dumbest look on his face, but also you knew a light bulb went off, and he was just like, oh, yeah. So you got burned more than you should have.
Oh, yeah.
And it resulted in Blind Puma.
Yep.
And Blind Puma was just beautiful.
It was my first work of art. It was the first masterpiece that I actually I got to show more of my acting skills.
Because you had to, because
because I couldn't wrestle, but yet, it was great.
And you a comedy.
Yeah, and I love doing comedy, and I figured, hey, here's my chance to do it.
Yep.
And that is probably the number one reason why I love being a heel over a face.
Because you can be more comedic.
I could be the guy that's taking all the comedy stuff. Mm-hmm. I was huge Three Stooges fan.
Oh, awesome. Very nice. That makes sense.
I put that into my character, the
Yeah.
Stooges.
Okay. I like that. All right, so, also around this time, B.T.P. winning the team titles. Being the first team champions. Now, WWE at that point had been around for 6 years.
Yeah.
So there was a ton of teams that could have been and maybe should have been team champions during those years where there were no Team Gold. Mm-hmm. And we had to get Team Gold because there were so many new people in WWE. It was just expanding, and it just seemed like the most necessary championship, because what's a type of match you can't do? You can't have a singles belt defended in. A tag team match. So that just seems like that would be the best option.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of teams during that tournament when it was reintroduced, Lord of the Ring 2005, but the finals were B.T.P. versus Heaven Burning, which were Jersey Devil and Sick.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that match and your thoughts on being the first WWE team champions.
That match, I was kind of like, it was like surreal for me. Because it's like I'm in here with three of, at the time, the greatest.
Yep.
Two of them I still consider the greatest.
I'd imagine that Jersey Devil and FO?
Yes.
Yep.
But, it was just the names in that match with me, and then knowing that the 1, 2, 3 came down, and me and my brother became
First ever
team champions.
And you guys were the first team, or really people, to ever defend a belt successfully at Legacy.
Yes.
Which was great.
Yeah, and winning the belts was also the mark of my 1-year anniversary.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's perfect.
Joining WAW. So, I accomplished a lot in that first year.
Yeah.
And with the injury. So, to me, it was just like, wow.
You definitely deserve that Rookie of the Year award.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than Carnage, because you ended up, of course, doing more throughout the year, and I think he only ended up being there for, 3 months? 4 months before? Yeah. Nice job, K-Man. All right. Also from the old gym, I want to talk about memorable matches in the old gym, because, like I said, there's so few people around that remember the old gym. One of them that I have for you is a First Blood match you had with Jersey.
Yeah, it was aired Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And to this day.
By the way, it was aired when, just so anybody knows, back then we were on Manchester Public Access all the time. So the shows were just a few weeks away from when they actually took place. So I believe it took place in October. I think there was one show in October where every match was a hardcore match.
Yeah.
But it aired Christmas Eve. Okay, go on.
Yeah. So, it still remains in my top 5 matches of my career.
Okay, very nice.
But it was me and Jersey I had a feud with him in the team feud. Mm-hmm. and the things that happened in that match.
So here are the three things that I remember.
Okay.
The three things that stand out to me, right? The first thing is you getting your eyebrow ring ripped out.
Yep.
And because it happened so early on in the match, I, along with others, were worried that, okay, I know that's not the end of the match. What if it actually starts to bleed right now and the match is over because this ring got ripped out? Second thing I remember is Jersey breaking his toe.
Yep.
And the third thing I remember is, for whatever reason during this night of all hardcore events, there was a stupid chain that was from one of the posts to another one of the posts, and people kept getting caught in this thing and hung up on this thing, and you guys both got wrapped up in this giant friggin' chain.
Yeah.
So what the hell, man?
No idea how that happened, but all I know is that when Jersey finally did the move to me, that I snapped that chain when I hit it.
Yeah.
And the footage is still around.
Yeah.
But everyone thought I had broken my leg again because of the way I flipped and everything with the chain. It was just...
And was it the Puma press into the corner that broke Jersey's toe?
Yeah, the Puma press to the corner.
Yep.
Broke his toe.
Was that also the finish?
That was also the finish.
Was it like an exposed turnbuckle? How did he get busted?
No, what I did is I threw him over the turnbuckle, so he hit the metal pole.
Awesome, okay, yep.
I didn't have time to rip off the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
So I felt the easiest thing to do was throw him and bust him open, and that's what happened.
Definitely the safest.
Busted him open, broke his toe.
Yeah.
And
how was it with the ring getting ripped out of your eye?
Oh, that hurt. It was bleeding, and I just made sure that I tried to stay away and look away from the camera. That's what a good heel does. You know, you cheat. Sometimes you have to.
Not the last time that you've shown color the hard way, right?
No,
right.
No,
that happened. That's happened many times. I'm sure we'll talk about those as we go. You ended up having, it's funny how long something is. Like us being in WW for 13 years. At the time, within the first 4 or 5 years that we were in WW, there was a legendary 3-part series with Puma and Christian Sain. Now, it's nobody. It's never talked about. You know what I mean? That's just kind of like, it sucks, but that's just what I'm saying. Like, things just don't get lost in the shuffle. Because who besides us and Rocco is still around from that era? That would even mention anything like that.
I was Christian Sain's first match.
Christian Sain's first match. And you ended up beating him the first one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember the finish for the match?
Yeah, he went for his death metal G. Ate the mat because I moved. And I'm pretty sure I just rolled him up from there.
No Puma press, just a roll up?
I think it was just a roll up.
Awesome. And then the second one, he ended up winning because it had to lead to a third match. And then who won the third match? Do you remember? Was it him or was it you? Was it you? Yeah, Big Buddy Puma? Yeah. Is that where you finished the feud?
Yeah.
Tell us about what that was like, because I remember at the time those series of matches were getting huge praise. And it's getting the fans to like what you do, especially now, working with crowds that some know you, some don't, but getting your peers to appreciate that these series of matches are great. What was that like? And was it the first time that anybody had said anything like that? Like, oh, these are, that you had heard that your matches were great, or, this was like your best match or anything like that?
A lot more people have started coming up and saying that. But I mean, it was working with Sain too. He was great. But yeah, getting the praises and everyone seeing that Puma can come back from anything.
Yep.
You can't keep me down. I was that devoted into wrestling that, like, that's what I did. And it all started with, like you said at the beginning, me and Sain. Nobody really remembers that. But like I debuted, like stuff like that. I can still remember some of that. But once everyone started coming up and saying how good I was, it just made me feel better. And when they told me that there was stuff they didn't like, I just worked on it.
it's great to get that kind of criticism.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that more than the, yeah, that was good, that was good. You need to know what is bad because that's what you want to know what to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're still in 2005 here. This is us. By us, you know, we're missing a few people here, but
Yeah.
going up to Legacy, B.T.P. versus Freakin Flax and Paul Clement. Freakin Flax, F Cube, I don't know when that started.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Versus Asylum, which was Rocco and Psycho.
Yeah.
Psycho was, you know, that was his first year as well.
Yeah.
I remember the ladder match. I remember that it was the worst match of the night, but at the time there's only 3 matches on the card. So, I mean, we had to compare with, like, a super stacked Lumberyard breakthrough match, right?
Yep.
There were so many things that happened in that match, so many people that did the most ridiculous things. And then we had the last match was the 666.
Yes.
Carnage, Sin, and Gino. So, I mean, there's no way anybody's topping that match.
No, that was a great match.
Right. So, but I just remember that match was a little disappointing from people watching and from being in it. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, everybody felt like we could do more. But I think, did that match also result in your next injury?
Rocco, I ended up Puma pressing Rocco on a barbed wire ladder.
Yep.
His hand went the wrong way. He twisted it in the barbed wire and ladder when he hit it.
Yep.
So that put him down. I believe Paul and Jeff, something happened with Jeff with Paul. And then Paul ended up laying down because he didn't know what to do.
Yep.
So that right there is...
That takes 3 out of the 6 people out of the match.
So, and back then I still want to say I was green with my ring knowledge and stuff.
Okay.
Of what maybe, instead of like just staying down in that area, maybe I should have gone and helped.
So you just did kind of what Paul did, just kind of lay down and let...
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, okay. Let F finish the match.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out what I should do, but I wasn't quite sure. Paul wasn't getting up, and Jeff and Rock were both injured. So it was like I'm like, well, I'm not doing this, and I know that you guys had a spot planned out, which I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, for the end.
For the finish.
Yep.
And you guys were working to that spot.
Yeah. And in hindsight, I feel like that should have been Paul. I feel like I was an asshole and took his moment. And he was taller. He could reach the belts. By the time I reached the belt, I fucked up the spot. Is what I'm saying.
Right inside call it like...
I get you.
We learned. We learned.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then after that, it was only a few months after that we ended up leaving the Murphys.
Yeah.
And then coming back, you know, we had such a long hiatus. There was such a long time off during that time. Us coming back, that first night, Annihilation 2006, you ended up winning Hardcore Match of the Year. It was B.T.P. versus Todd Sobel and Chatso Bannigan.
Yep.
Green Machines, right?
Green Machines.
Green Machines. And that was a tag team table match. Might have been the first one. Then you went into the feud with Asylum. So it was you working with Jersey Devil again, and then Rocco as well. It was Rocco and Jersey. So describe that feud, and then talk a little bit about the first ever Trick or Treat team match, which would be the Trick or Treat 3. That was the first ever tag team one, or team one, and that took place at Doomsday 2005.
All right. The feud was great. I'd already fought Jersey, and I fought Rocco a few times before.
You beat him in Captain 2-on-1.
2-on-1 handicap.
Puma versus the Amazers.
Yeah, the Amazers tapped at the same time.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what anyone says, they both tap.
One of them will claim they didn't tap, right? Yeah.
One of them claims they did not tap, but the ref rang it because he saw both of them tap.
That's right.
I worked really well with Jersey, and I worked really well with Rocco. So working with them together was great. I see. I've lost a few times to Rocco in my career, but I've never lost to Jersey in my career.
Wow. Okay.
And that is an accomplishment in itself.
Like
Jersey's never beat me,
okay.
but Rocco has.
All right. Fair enough.
Yep.
I believe that was the last match you had for, I want to say, what, 3 years?
3 years.
3 years?
3 years.
So the next time that we saw you was 2008, the first ever anniversary show. and that's when there were so many people that were invited back for that one time. You came back, and I believe you were in the Battle Royal. Was that just kind of like, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Which at the time was filled with names, you know. You were also involved in the match that I was in, which was the main event, where I was about to get a murder ride, or I'm sorry, I think I did get a murder ride from the Kindred, because Psycho returned as well. Then they were going to give a murder ride to Efo, had him up on the shoulders, and I think when Psycho ran across, you ended up, you came out, you pulled him out, decked him on the outside, and then you just dragged Psycho away. So that was like you coming back to help out Efo, like just your history intertwined. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Coming back after the anniversary show, the first ever anniversary show. Doomsday Ladder match, 2008. That was also a fantastic match.
Yes, it was.
Before Lord of the Ring comes up. Just overall thoughts about coming back to WWE after, you know, the years that you were off, and what did you kind of hope to accomplish?
When I came back, it was, like you said, 3 years. It was to rest my knee. And I wanted to make sure that when I came back, there was nothing wrong with my knee, so I could accomplish becoming a Hall of Famer, becoming a champion.
You had that goal back then.
Becoming the WAW champion.
Of course.
Like, becoming the man. Like, it's an honor to get that because your peers feel like you deserve it.
Even though it's a prop to further a storyline, it still means something.
To me, it's a respect thing. It represents the respect.
Okay. When you came back, you did Lord of the Ring. You were in another Lumberyard match, another Legacy Championship match. Had it converted to tables by this time? I think it had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this one was tables.
Okay. And then you ended up, right after that, joining the Dynasty.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, I did.
But you were going to come back and you were going to be in the new Dynasty, pretty much. The first Dynasty. The Dynasty was, at the time, Christian Sain and FMJ and Moody Star. They were all just kind of like, as far as WWE goes, they were all kind of helping each other with their matches. They were a team without anybody saying, hey, this is a team. When they became a team, and they wanted to be called the Dynasty. So you were involved in that, and the plan was that you guys were going to run through the Annihilation team,
Yep.
and you were going to get all title shots, and you were all going to be championship, because there was no reason to not call you a Dynasty if you weren't all going to hold the titles. And then you got hurt. What was the injury what caused the injury, and what was the injury this time? Because this would be your second time, second major one, you think?
Yeah, because it was the first major shoulder injury that I have had a few issues with since. For just either landing on it wrong in a move or someone landing on it wrong, doing a move,
being unsafe. Yeah.
When it came down to it, I ended up taking my title shot, and I was supposed to lay down for it, but I refused. The Dynasty.
The Dynasty in the angle. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So I wrestled, injured my shoulder in the match. Great match against Kevin Chaos. I loved wrestling him. So I got kicked out of the Dynasty and pretty much WW because they broke my arm. I was injured. Storyline. We played a.
Were you already injured in real life?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a slight injury and in the match a little. So I had to take some more time off, rest it.
And did JT take your place?
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe JT because he was an up and comer and a good striker.
Yeah, very good. Okay, the next big thing for Puma was you teaming up with Paul Clement, as known as Fresh Money.
Fresh Money.
Fresh Money. Tell us about that.
That was interesting. I was coming back a face, something I didn't know, against a guy who wasn't at the top of his game, who rubbed a lot of us wrong in the locker room.
Okay.
You His personality wise was different than mine.
Yep.
But I knew him at high school.
Okay.
So I knew Paul from high school. That's
Yeah.
when I first met Paul.
Yeah.
But Fresh Money, I think, was the second best thing that ever happened to me for the fact that it helped me do promos.
Okay.
Because Paul would never shut up. His promos would go on forever.
Yeah.
And the only way that I could see to get some talk time and show my character is to cut him off, you know. And so what I did is I cut him back on promos and had him do more of the wrestling. So we ended up working out relatively well with each other.
Yeah.
And then we ended up winning Team Gold.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. It wasn't the first Newton show. It was the second Newton show. The first Newton show, the first ever away show. You and I were actually in the same match. Fresh Money, F Off, Firebirds, and Team Rocket, Delilah and Trixie. What do you remember about that first away show?
I was nervous, like more nervous than normal.
Yep.
It was the first time I wrestled with an actually big crowd, like a big crowd.
Yeah.
And that wasn't our regular, different state. How do I say it? Like overcome with like, I don't know.
Emotion?
But,
What?
well, yeah, a little bit of everything.
I remember being really nervous. I remember.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, but it ended up being great. People loved us when we came out, so that was a plus. So,
yeah.
Like not knowing how people are gonna react that have never seen you.
Sure. Yeah.
So that was good, and the experience was like, wow, this is really fun. So from a childhood, from wrestling in grass to now actually going to a different state to wrestle in front of a crowd of people.
Especially four sides, because
four sides.
Four sides. Yeah.
And it was just like it was surreal.
Yeah, and then you ended up winning a number one contendership match with Paul, right? Your legacy again. But then you ended up losing that first match, but the second time you won, that ended up being Newton.
Yeah.
The second Newton show, Unequaled.
Yep.
That was you and Paul, Fresh Money. You defeated the Firebirds.
Yep.
For the first ever team title, the first ever time that a title changed hands in Newton.
Yep.
And brought it home. Because earlier in the night, I think the Vixens title changed hands, but the champion took their rematch and took it back.
Yep.
So you actually took the gold home. Describe what that was like, and winning the team titles for the second time, you know, with another good friend of yours, you know, first FO and now Paul, and being, you know, winning the gold at the away show.
That was a big moment. The fact that we were considered to, you know, win at an away show. I know wrestling in front of our crowd is, you know, and we like them to see the titles change, but this was a big one because it was the first one changing hands that left with the people that had just won it.
Yeah.
Like you said. To me, it showed me, hey, I just won the titles with PC, not, you know, FO and Dealer, who were Hall of Famers already.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I learned from them, and now I had someone else with me, and that I was just as good with, you know, without the people that helped me get there. I learned a lot from them, and now I'm
on
my own, and I'm doing other things.
That's awesome. Unfortunately, that was a really short title reign. Paul Clement got hurt this time. He was out.
Yeah.
You guys had to drop the belts again at that time. So I know that was probably, you know, I remember you being a little upset about that. Because, I mean, and I know that there's two ways to think of wrestling angles, right? Something really good, you want something really good to happen so bad that you just give it to the people right away, or even give it to yourself right away. Or you want it to mean more in the long run. And knowing that Fresh Money were going to be the new team champions, the Firebirds were first made the champions because they had defeated F-Off. They were going to be the new carriers of the team division, the heel champs. We had to build Fresh Money to the Firebirds, so that way that moment seemed bigger. So, but all the work that was put into making the Fresh Money team champions, it hurts because, you know, then after all the time, the injury.
Yeah. I took some time off when Paul left.
You took some time off with Paul?
Yes.
Okay.
Thinking that, you know what, take some time, have him heal up, and then come back as a team with him.
Okay.
But when the opportunity presented itself to me to say, hey, I can come back and do this, Paul wasn't ready. So I told him, hey, I'm going to go back. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. And I end up getting teamed up with Reyes.
And what was that like? Because now you're teamed up with somebody that isn't a childhood friend of yours.
Yep.
Somebody that joined WW after you did.
Yep.
And everything that you learned from B.T.P, from Chris and Dealer, and maybe even Paul, you were able to kind of also show and help and give Reyes.
Yeah.
So describe what teaming up with somebody like that was like, and how is he as a partner compared to the other guys?
Teaming up with Reyes was great. We had our franchise players.
Yep.
We're both in the sports. He has 1 million jerseys.
Yeah.
I have like maybe 15. But we put that into, that's how we clicked.
Yeah.
That's how we started to bond as like friends that, you know, I didn't grow up with you, but let's start.
Yep.
So we end up bonding outside of wrestling while teaming up. And Reyes was, he was different than Chris and Paul as a partner in good ways, you know, nothing bad.
Sure.
He was a lot more energetic.
Okay.
He had a lot more like energy.
Yeah.
And you can see that in the ring. And he's not as bad as Paulie with promos.
Right.
But he has flair. He's Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Like
natural charisma.
Natural charisma.
Yep.
And so working with him, me and him gelled easily. Other than, like, legitly, other than Moops, I think I gelled with all my partners. Other than Moops.
Your main feud, I would imagine, was Rocco and Gino. You were champions already with Paul and with Chris. Like, you still had to work back up as a team. So you guys ended up winning the titles finally. Right?
Yes.
You guys had the first ever Cemetery Treats match. That was Cemetery Gates and Trick or Treat put together because Trick or Treat matches were no longer a thing.
Yep.
And Gino was the pioneer of Cemetery Gates and was in all of them with the exception of the one that recently happened with Johnny Psycho and Delilah. Being in a Cemetery Treats match, I'm going to imagine this is another time where you were busted open.
It was actually Rocco.
Yep.
Took the pizza cutter to the forehead.
Pizza cutter to the forehead, of course.
Yeah. I got the pizza cutter still with the blood from that match.
Yeah?
On it, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I trusted that, hey, I trust the guy that I'm in the ring with. That was right on the forehead, split me right open.
Yep.
I got him back with, I believe it was the cheese grater to the face. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah. Trixie came back, popped out of a box. It was quite obvious, but still something that happens. I think people were always coming out of boxes in Trick or Treat matches.
Yeah, too much. Used.
But then we had the anniversary show. You guys won the titles at the anniversary show, you and Reyes.
Yep.
Describe what it was like to finally win those titles back again. Pretty much, what, a year after you lost them? I mean, I know you lost them at Hellbound.
Yeah.
But it took about a year to get back. And doing it with Reyes, another partner.
Well, it was the fact that I became the first person to ever win the team titles with 3 different people.
Okay. That's cool.
That was an accomplishment. And knowing that someone that I didn't know and that I really didn't have any chemistry prior to it.
Yeah.
We just meshed. We had a lot of chemistry, but it just showed me that you could put me with somebody, doesn't matter who it is, and I can help them become a champion.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just showed that. Yeah, it just showed me that my colleagues trusted me that I could take anybody in the company and win a title with.
Okay.
That just shows me that I made it up to the next tier, the next level that I was going for.
Yep.
But I'm not there with the title, and I'm not there with the Hall of Fame yet.
Right. Okay, so after that, you and Reyes were champion. You another successful team match at Legacy. I remember because Steve broke his arm. And then you lost him the first Aftermath back to Giles and Evil E. And you were, because I believe you were injured, right? This wasn't a big injury, but this was also something that was enough to take you out.
Yeah. It was annoying, and it was affecting my job. I actually work.
Was it the shoulder again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same shoulder?
Yeah.
Okay. The next time that you came back was the anniversary show. Chris Shady was already doing his own thing. He brought you back to reunite B.T.P. for one night. You guys fought Helter Skelter, who were the champions.
Yep.
Bianca, Wild, and Evil E. You defeated them.
Yeah.
Held the titles, held the WWE team titles for a few more minutes.
Yeah.
And then dropped it right back to him. I would say, what is that, your fifth title reign, right?
Fourth. That was my fourth title
So
reign.
every time you've won something with somebody, you've only won the title once with them? Right?
That was my second time with Shady. That was the first time I won it with a former.
And then you only won it with Paul once and Reyes once.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the first time you won it with a guy a second time. Held it for a few minutes, dropped it back. What was that like?
Oh, it was great because it was a surprise to me. Hey, the booking came down and said, hey, what do you think about this? I'm like, if you guys feel that, we deserve it, and like I was saying earlier, they must, they say how I've progressed and I've helped other people, and so it was another honor to me. Like, all right, even being gone, they still see that I have what it takes.
Yeah.
I still have the passion for it.
Yeah. After the anniversary show, you decided to come back. You ended up re-teaming. Again, you kept Big Top Playaz alive. You guys entered the team tournament again. And 10 years after you first won the WWE Team Championships at Lord of the Ring, in the first team tournament we had, 10 years later, 2015, you do it again. With Chris Shady again.
Yeah.
But more than just a one-off like the anniversary show. This is when you guys had your record-breaking 428-day reign. Incredible. Describe that match.
It was like deja vu.
Yeah.
Winning it, then winning the titles, and again, LOTR, which is an anniversary of mine.
Yep.
Good things happen at LTR for me.
Exactly.
So, and then know that I was teaming up with my brother once again, and I knew some of my best wrestling was yet to come.
Yep.
Like, this is the storyline I've been waiting for all those years I stayed in the company.
Mm-hmm.
I figured, hey, who better when you get older, you like to team up, who can I do that with and do a good job with? And, well, opportunity opened, and we were able to get it done.
Like you said, yeah, you won it with Reyes, you won it with Paul. Now you won it with Shady again for the second time, and you guys were back. Big Top Playaz were back. What was that like for you 10 years later to come back and be B.T.P. one more time and have those titles for so long?
It was an honor, and it was great. Like, it ended up being the most fun that I've had in the company.
Awesome.
Like, knowing that a storyline that I get to do with my brother again.
Yep.
And then just go with it. And just all those days we were champions, that whole time we were together, it was a great long run. And it was building to something bigger.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
It was building to something bigger. it was an honor to, wrestle with him, and especially at the end.
And how about also the idea of being the leaders of the team division again? Because during those 428 days, you guys were the team division. Like, everybody had to run through you. So, can you describe what it was like, A, being, the team division one more time, and B, anything that you remember out of that title reign that was just memorable matches, I guess, out of that one title reign. It was historic. Over a year.
Over a year. Reyes was in a lot of it. We feuded with him for pretty much the whole year. He found partners here and there. One match of the year was FO Puma versus Gabbi and Reyes.
Yep, fighting Gabbi. Yep.
Yeah.
Describe what fighting Gabbi was like.
It was different, but it was the first time I was in a ring with someone of her
age.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and the fact that she was a female in the match that she was in, but everything that she did leading up to that made me know she could handle it. She could be in a match with us, and
put it through a table, right?
We did put her through a table. Yeah,
she took it
and
like a champ.
She took it like a champ.
Yep.
And that will be the whole feud that we had with her. Is a memorable feud that we've had.
Now, what about Helter Skelter? You guys ended up winning the match at Lord of the Ring. Brutal match. At Lord of the Ring, and you defeated Helter Skelter.
Yeah.
Obviously, we grew up at a time where matches against women were normal to us.
Yes.
Right? There were so many feet vixens that came through the doors of WAW. Obviously, when you watch those matches back, Lord of the Ring, B.T.P versus Helter Skelter, it looks bad. But Bianca was just as much as the guys were. Evilly, another guy that, both of them were able to dish out punishment as well as they could take it. So, feuds that B.T.P had since the start, right? What was it like to work with Helter Skelter?
It was good. It was fine. I've worked with E before. E beat me. Him and Giles.
Yep.
I was in the ring a couple of times with Bianca, but I don't think I wrestled her much.
I just remember a devastating cannonball in the corner.
Yep. I know the slap was there. She hit me fucking hard. I know that.
Oh yeah, she's great. Yep.
Seeing a team that was at the top when the former team comes in, we're trying to make a legacy for us now.
Yeah.
Oh, no pun intended.
No pun intended.
We knew we were a great team, but we wanted to be the GOAT of teams.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I think that having the opponents that we had during our run made us, because you see the ones that come in while we were there, you see them flourishing now.
Yep.
So
we're talking about Helter Skelter.
Helter Skelter.
What about Bane and Kane? I know they ended up there was another busted open incident at Legacy.
Yeah, Legacy. They told us, hey, it's not our first rodeo. We know how to use weapons when they were trying to be explained how to use a weapon. So, of course, the first shot I take in the match is a garbage can lid facing the wrong way to the head.
Handle to the head.
Handle to the head.
Nice.
And that split my head open. Now,
still continue the match.
I wrestled another 12 minutes in that match with a head busted open.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing. As soon as I told my partner what happened, he got everybody back.
That's having a good partner's all about, right?
Yep. Rest of the match, we climbed. We got it. Then I went to the hospital and got 12 staples in the head after the main event. I waited till the main event was over.
Amazing. All right. Now, what about Reyes and PC?
What
is that? Was that Fresh Franchise? Was that their official name?
I believe it was Fresh Franchise.
So, these are two of your ex-partners teaming up to take on you and Shady.
Yep. And they kicked me out of their name.
And they
it combined into that.
Yeah. So what was that like?
For me, it was enjoyment.
Yeah.
I got to see two guys. One of them was told, to his face that he would never win a title in his entire career.
Assuming PC?
Yes,
Yeah.
PC. So, knowing that they had both won with me, having them together in a feud with us was like my two apprentices
Yeah, okay.
going against me.
Yep.
And I was the apprentice to him.
Right, exactly, yeah. It's
So
absolutely,
it was a really like epic moment. But that I enjoyed that. And they were good enough to win the titles. But something happens and PC wasn't able to compete anymore.
Yep.
And Reyes once again in our feud got kicked in the back.
Yep. And then Gabbi. You already talked about Gabbi.
Yeah, Gabbi.
Then what about Steve Aleutian?
Oh,
You guys end up working Steve Aleutian at the anniversary show.
That-
Or Middlesex Express, I should say. These are guys that came in after you guys. They were in the team division for a little while. Then Steven Stamos, who then became Steven Gamble, and Stamos and Lust, doing his own thing. Was in WWE doing a singles run for a while. Then this, Middlesex Express became a name out in the New England and furthermore independent scene. What was it like to work them at the anniversary show?
Oh, it was great. It was the fact that we knew how much they liked us, but they never fought us because we weren't together when
Right.
they were around.
Yeah.
And so it was taking a new era team against one of the old greats. And wrestling, like, just wrestling them was just great. Like, there's nothing that, like, we're like that. We mesh.
You mesh.
We
Exactly.
mesh when we're in the ring.
And then what about Kane and Draven? Do you remember anything about Kane and Draven?
Traven had a good choke slam. That's what I remembered of him.
Okay. So it was right around the time, right after you end up fighting Gabbi. We have the anniversary show where you fight Steve's. Right around that time, you also end up getting into the Hall of Fame. Now, this was something that you, earlier on, said this was a goal of yours. You want to be champion, you want to be in the Hall of Fame. At this point, you hadn't had a chance to be champion yet.
Yeah.
But you were in the Hall. You're getting in the Hall of Fame. Describe a little bit about what that meant for you to win the Hall of Fame, and also in the manner that you found out.
It really meant everything to me finding out. I completed a goal that I set forth. It took years, but it just made me feel like I finally accomplished one of my big goals in life. It was crazy because I didn't know it was coming. I had no idea, and I had I was wrestling a match. I was wrestling Delilah, and I got a nice big slap from her in the match. I ended up beating her.
Yep.
Then I was surprised by you in the roster coming out with the award and presenting it on a live show.
I believe that would have been the third time. First time was FO, I think was the first one, and then they did it to me, and I did it too.
Okay, yeah. So, that was like the third time that it's happened, and I was in good company.
Yeah, of course. During that time, because we did it at the live show, and because the crowd knew how much it meant to you, for a little while, B.T.P. were good guys, right?
Yeah.
They were the baby faces.
Yes, we were.
So describe a little bit what that was like, as far as you guys ended up faking the babyface turn, right?
Yeah. It was. That was a great moment. Great moment. We very deceitful.
Yep.
We wanted to make our fans love us, which we accomplished because we wanted to see them crushed, and we did that too. We made people cry.
Yeah.
Like, legitly cry.
Yeah. Which is always great, as far as, even though it doesn't sound like it, it is great.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it doesn't sound like it, but
Yeah.
it's great. It's
So
great.
then Your legendary 428-day reign finally comes to an end. Legacy against Spanish Castle Magic, which is still Andres Reyes,
Yeah.
who is teamed up with almost everybody that you could think of.
Just to beat us.
Right. And Darren Castle, my son of a bitch brother.
Your son of a bitch brother, yes.
And describe what it was like to finally lose those team championship titles, and for this team to be the team to do it.
Finally losing the titles, it was like a relief. Not in a bad way, in a way of, like, finally we found someone in the company. They show their dedication. They showed us they were worthy.
Yep.
And they put in everything all the time. Everything needed to be done. And we were more than happy to have that match, and it was a good match, and we ended up losing the titles. And we knew that, hey, the team division is on a new path.
And in good hands?
And in good hands.
Very good. And then the next thing I want to talk about is you in a table match with Eric Thorne and Newton. Describe what that was like.
I believe this was my first singles match in Newton. So I was nervous. It was on the same card as Robbie E versus FO, or Shady, I should say.
Yep.
We had to go up after Robbie E and Shady, so
yeah.
I was more nervous than normal because I was like, all right, we'll end the half and then we'll see Robbie E later. But no, it was so having a 1-1 in a tables match down in Newton. I've had some success down there.
Yep.
Fighting Eric Thorne, we hadn't fought in a while, but I remember when he came into the company and I was told, hey, Thorne's going to be there. You want to fight him in table match? Yep. I think, and thought we had a great match, and we told a great story, and it was enjoyable.
Okay. Is it safe to say that out of all the partners you had, Shady was your favorite?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Much love to my other guys, but yeah.
So out of the three main partners, Shady, PC, and Reyes, what was the major difference? Like the one positive that each one of them brought?
The one positive?
Yeah.
I would say Chris, F.O. Shady, his knowledge about everything, like
Yep.
how more knowledgeable than I was,
Yep.
and that helped me tons, got me to who I am today. PC brought, like, he brought the charisma, the promos, the flashy stuff, I should say.
Yeah.
The flashy stuff,
Yeah.
He brought that. And Reyes, by God, brought the intensity. Like,
Yeah.
he brought the intensity, and when I came back, I'm up there in my years of wrestling, and he helped me rejuvenate. So I was the older guy, but I was keeping up with him.
Yeah.
So he brought that plus the motivation and intensity.
Awesome.
That's what Reyes brought.
After your feud with Spanish Castle Magic, you went on to win Hellbound, become the Hellbound champion. There was a Hall of Fame match at the anniversary show, and then you won the title right after that.
Yep.
So describe what it was like to win the title. You and JT. It was for the vacated title because Kevin Giles was injured. Had to
Yes.
forfeit the title.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was great. It was the last thing I needed to check off, and I was able to check off. It was a good moment in my life, knowing that I was at the top and I was the man.
And it meant a lot to you to carry the company, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And knowing that usually whoever champ is the face of the company.
Right.
And my next goal was to make sure that I did the best I could do with it.
The first thing that you did after you won the title, first major feud you had, was Chris Shady. Because he had won the Doomsday Ladder match, which was one of the last things he needed to accomplish in his career. Fighting Chris Shady over the ring, what was that like?
It'd be the first time that we really had a one-on-one, like a good one-on-one. And with the history of us going into that match, it was great because I did all the teaming with them, and who better to fight than the person you know the best.
Right.
Like, it was a great moment for me, and it was an honor that I was able to fight him with the title.
Excellent. And then the next feud you had was Freakin Flax.
Yes.
At Legacy.
Yep.
Describe what that was like.
That was, in itself, a great match. The storyline we had leading up to everything that went on was great. The history that we've had. And wrestling Flax as the character that he portrays is great. There's not very many people who can make you laugh in a match, and I had to keep a straight face. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember being thrown around a lot.
Yep, it was. The match was perfect in all sorts of ways, and we told a great story.
And you again retained gold at Legacy. You have one of the best Legacy records. I think you've only lost 3 times, maybe, and you've won 5. And all of those wins have been, I think 4 of those 5 have been retaining gold or winning gold.
Yep.
And then one of them was a #1 contenders match as a team. Your team record is amazing.
So that's like a silver, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then right after that, you moved on to one of the biggest feuds of all time, which was, a carryover from earlier because at Legacy, Ethel returned.
Yeah.
Ethel won the Legacy Championship, which was the last thing that he needed to do in his illustrious career, and then he fought you at Annihilation. Describe what that feud was like, and describe what that match was like.
The feud was by far the best I've ever been in. All the personal life stuff that we brought into the feud, and the times you've hated someone, like the feelings, everything that was put into this feud was everything we had. The stuff that we said that pushed the limits, that people were not happy about stuff that we said.
Yeah.
Mainly me. It's one of the greatest feuds, I think, in the history. Between 2 of the greatest in the history of the company.
And what about that match?
The match itself was... I'm trying to find a word for it. I can't think of a word right now, so you know what?
It was incredible. It really was
incredible.
The match, the moment, Ethel winning the title, Ethel retiring on top.
Yep.
That match was near perfect. It was as good as anything has ever been.
The spots, we went over the top on some of the spots, and it was the first time that I felt like out of everybody in there, he really manhandled me in that. Just going through a table, some of the other crazy ass shit that I did, like
The Puma bomb that you did
the Puma bomb was great.
to the outside was...
Sprained my ankle, but it was great.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And that was a big moment move.
Yeah.
I've never done that move to anybody since, and I don't think I will unless we have some crazy ass, big ass match and he comes back and just like, to me that move was perfect in that spot.
Also during your title reign,
Yep.
you had performed at Elkmania. You had retained the title. What was that like to have a match at a non-WW show?
My first indie show.
Yeah.
A non-WW show. It was amazing. Yeah, it was a great experience. I met a lot of wrestlers around the indies.
Yep.
In the New England region, at least.
Yep.
I was nervous. It was the biggest crowd I've ever wrestled in front of.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a bunch of friends in the match. It was a 5-man match, so it was me, Flax, Shady, Billy, Pyro.
Yep.
And there was a mess up spot in the match, and after the match, at least I felt like crap. That spot got messed up. Hopefully the rest of the match was good. When I went downstairs and one of the wrestlers, Bo Douglas, I believe his name was, he walked up to me and he said that he was really surprised to see, he said, how the match didn't cave after, that mess up and how well we recovered from it.
Yeah, Crazy Tower Doom spot gone wrong.
Crazy Tower Doom gone wrong.
Yep.
And he said that I was a good wrestler. And that, to me, meant a lot because it was coming from other people in the business that I've never wrestled with or have really seen what I can do.
Right.
So, and then I retained the title, and it was great. Being the heel was great.
Yeah. So then, like you said, that was the last biggest thing you did was, wrestling FO at Annihilation. What, if you could have a dream match, is there anybody in WWE that you haven't worked? Like, if you could have a match with anybody, would there be somebody that you would choose?
In the history,
yeah,
there's not many people I haven't fought. That's a tough one.
Now, if you could have a dream match with anybody else outside of WWE, who do you think your character would mesh up with the best? Your everything, like wrestling style, like that whole thing. Who do you think would be the best match for Puma versus anybody?
Anybody.
Alive or dead?
Believe it or not, there's two guys that I would want to have.
Okay.
I would probably do a triple threat with them. They're not in my top 5 wrestlers.
Right.
But they are people that I have met and I respect and that I think I would mesh good with them. They're high flyers, and I'm a wannabe high flyer. I'm just a big guy that can't fly.
Sure.
But I like AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy.
Okay. I think that would be a pretty exciting match. You would probably tear them apart. And also...
Pounce, baby. Pounce.
Oh, double pounce, baby. Yeah.
Loving it. I figured out the WW guy.
The WWE guy, yes.
The guy that I need to fight and that I would love to would be Troy Gabbo.
Puma versus Troy.
Puma versus Troy.
Never had a match?
I don't remember ever having a one-on-one. I'm pretty sure I fought him in team matches and triple threats and stuff like that, but I don't think we've ever had a one-on-one.
Okay. That'd be great. Perfect. Pure white meat, all-American babyface and nasty-ass villain.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Fucking beast.
That's right. Future, WWE. What do you foresee in the future? Like you said, you're taking some time off right now. You're picketing, but what would your future entail for Puma?
Future, if I don't get back in ring, I could see being a president. At some point, I feel that I could easily be a president and do well at it.
Yep.
I would not mind reclaiming my gold that I have rightfully been stripped and stolen of.
Yep. Which we also found out you now have a floater, right?
Yeah.
A rematch at a floater.
I have I forgot that I never used one of my rematches, so I technically...
Unless you never really, if you never made it into a floater, it's just gone, it could be gone. I don't know.
You know what? Hey, I know in my head that I never had my rematch.
You still got that rematch at least.
So I still have that rematch, so I have 2 shots at it.
That's right. All right, so now we're going to have some ending questions here. These are like favorites and least favorites, and then just going to end it with word association, and then we'll be we'll be all set.
All right.
I don't know, just because I find these kind of interesting, right? Favorite and least favorite food?
Least favorite, fish.
Any kind?
Yeah, really any kind.
Okay.
And favorite...
Tough, right? Food is great.
I'm a chef, so yeah, it is. I would say my go-to is probably pizza.
Any specific? Just
anything, really.
Yeah. Okay.
I love pineapples on it.
So do I. Favorite and least favorite drink? Doesn't necessarily have to be alcoholic. Doesn't not have to be alcoholic.
Mr. Pibb is my favorite. And my least favorite, Pepsi,
Not just like straight up soda.
I'm not a really, if I drink Pibb occasionally, but I'm not a soda guy.
Favorite, least favorite movie?
Oh, now you got favorite movie. Harry Potter's.
Yeah.
The whole series. I consider it one movie. My least favorite movie, I don't know, I think I'd say Bridesmaids.
All right. Favorite and least favorite band or artist or, singer or whatever? Group?
Oh. Favorite of all time?
Of course.
Favorite of all time would have to probably be Backstreet Boys.
Okay. All right.
Godsmack would be my...
Godsmack's number one?
Godsmack's my
Okay.
number one.
All right. You have a favorite TV show of all time?
Least favorite. I need to do my least favorite.
No least favorite. Just so many TV shows that are terrible.
Favorite TV show? Honestly, it's Pokemon. But the show right behind that, I would have to say Game of Thrones.
Okay. Now, what is your favorite non-fictional character? Good guy and bad guy. Like, for me, Captain America or Freddy Krueger. Those would be, like, my favorite good guy, my favorite bad guy. Like, who are your favorite in those categories? Because you've played both good and bad guys.
Yeah.
So.
Favorite good guy, favorite bad guy.
Yep.
My favorite good guy would probably have to be...
I thought it was going to be Thor or Hulk.
Yeah, it's Hulk. It's Hulk. Yeah,
Okay.
I was a big fan of the Hulk.
Yep.
When I was a kid. Him and Wolverine. Bad guy, I want to say Lord Voldemort count.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess so, right? Isn't he the bad guy of the series?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite person? Real life.
Favorite person? Like anybody, favorite person?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Probably my dad.
All right. What's the best advice that you were ever given? And what's the best advice you can give?
Probably that how life is not easy and that you need to work to get to where you need to be. The best advice that I could give...
Well, now, who said the other one? Your dad said that one?
Yeah, my dad said the other one.
Okay. Best advice you can give?
I could give is life is too short to hold a grudge. Just try and make up. Sometimes you just can't help it, but life's too short.
Life is too short to hold a grudge. That is great. All right, now take it just back to wrestling here. What is your favorite and least favorite moment in wrestling that you can remember? Favorite moment and least favorite moment?
I would say my favorite moment, because I saw it live,
Yep.
and it was two wrestlers that I really enjoyed in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
Main event, Undertaker versus Jeff Hardy in a ladder match.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That right there, I experienced it, and I've seen a lot of other stuff live, but that was one of my memorable matches that I just love because it was people I just really liked, and it was a good underdog that never happened, but it was still really, really good.
So no least favorite moment, something you just remember, like...
Least favorite would probably be, I'd probably have to say the whole Vince McMahon car thing.
yeah, that was terrible.
It just, that, believe it or not, that's when you're just like, oh, it really is a lot of acting and stuff like that, but you gotta make money, so, you gotta add the acting into it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was going to ask the best match you've seen live, but you've said that, the Undertaker-Jeff Hardy ladder match. What's the best match you haven't seen live? Do you have a favorite match?
Oh, Jesus, yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. It would be the Hardys
Yep.
versus the Dudleys.
Okay.
Versus Christian Edge. If
Yes.
I'm not mistaken, was it the first ever TLC?
The first ever TLC at SummerSlam?
Yeah, wasn't... I thought, the triple threat. And
Yeah.
Edge and...
They had a ladder
Christian
match
won
at WrestleMania. Yeah, Edge and Christian won that one. It was just called a triangle ladder match. I know they had so many.
Well, I know, but I know this one because people went... Well, they always usually do go through tables and stuff. Yeah, I believe Bubba and...
Devon?
No, Bubba and Matt went through the table.
Was that the spear from the top?
I might have, because I remember them. They had the ladder, and they had the ladder laid out like that, and they walked and grabbed the title.
Oh, okay, that was the first one. Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was the first.
Awesome.
Me and Shady watched that so many times, and that's where we got some great ideas from.
Oh yeah. Favorite moment in WAW you've been a part of, and favorite moment you haven't been a part of.
Favorite moment would be Shady's retirement.
Okay. Fantastic moment.
And pretty much the 2007 year.
Okay.
That was when we were at the top with our talent and people. And,
Yeah.
And the
10 years ago?
Yeah, it was one of the things where we had the most talent on the roster ever.
Yeah.
And all the guys are now if they were still around, we'd have a shit ton of top tier Hall of Fame caliber people.
Right.
Not saying we don't now, but
No, I get it. All right, so top 5 favorite matches.
top 5 favorite matches.
No order. Doesn't matter the order. It's just the 5 that you love the most. Or whether they're your favorites for personal reasons, or you think you perform the best in,
Okay, I would say the no DQ Falls Count Anywhere, Puma versus FO.
From Annihilation.
Annihilation is
Of
final
course.
match.
Yep.
Then I have, of course, the First Blood I did with Jersey.
Yep.
I have a dog collar match that I did with Falcon.
Okay.
That was one of the best hardcore type of match that I've done.
Yep.
And then I have you versus me at
Legacy. Awesome. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And then there's a few that I'm going to have for this next spot, but I think it's the first time me and Ethel fought that was not part of another storyline.
You guys at Lord of the Ring?
Yes.
Where it was just mainly you two?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the first, we hadn't touched each other leading up to our first match.
Yep.
The anticipation, the everything that we did before that,
Yeah.
And that'd be my top 5.
And
I don't
now-
have any tag matches in there because I consider that a different category.
Okay.
And it's just that I've been in so many, there's just too many to even think of a top 5 for.
I understand. What about top 5 feuds?
Top 5 feuds?
Yeah. No order again, just
No order. Well, I'll go the Firebirds. I had a feud with Falcon.
Okay.
And that was like a 2-year thing that we had.
Okay.
That was one of my longest feuds I've ever had.
Yep.
Feud with Rocco in Jersey.
Okay.
Asylum.
Yep. FO, probably, right?
Yeah, FO, of course.
Yeah, 3. Okay.
Of course.
Reyes, you think?
Yeah, I would have to, definitely, yeah. And over all the years, it'd be you. You'd be the other one.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm.
Awesome. See, when I was thinking back of personal stuff that you and I had, I don't really remember us fighting a lot because
it was the team. I fought Paulie more than I fought you because you fought Chris all the time.
Okay. Yeah, we had the match at Legacy and then reserve match, but then I don't remember us fighting again until.
Oh, dude, there was
this year,
it was the Jimmy Fox stuff.
Okay, yeah.
When you were with FQ, we fought.
Yep. Ended up with word association, right? I say somebody's name. You give the first word or phrase that comes to mind.
All right.
All right.
I'll be honest. I'm truthful. Whatever comes to my head, if I say, hey, I'm not trying to piss anybody off. Hey.
Moops.
Robot.
Dealer.
Role model.
FO.
Brother.
Paul Clement.
Sister.
Bill Vox.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
All right. Jersey Devil.
ICP in his own version.
All right. Andres Reyes.
I love him, so I won't say it, but an orange seller.
Wow, that is terrible.
I love you, Reyes. I'm just kidding. Intensity. That's what I see with Reyes.
Okay.
Intensity.
CVZ.
Amazing.
Rocco.
Hardcore.
Pyro.
Skinny fuck that could do everything I couldn't do.
Giles.
Kind giant.
Puma.
A beast.
All right, Puma. That concludes the podcast. Thank you so much for being on. I really much appreciate it.